Lucy Hall and this is The Social Show. A couple of weeks ago we launched socialday.live, and this is a website where you can go to get all of the latest news around social media and all of the latest features about what's going on in the industry. We rounded up all of the news every single day to help you to understand what's going on in the industry, and also so that you don't have to go anywhere else to get it. This week, Stuart also went to go and see the Advertising Standards Authority. He went over to those guys and they were talking about what the Advertising Standard Authority actually does for social media and influencer marketing. So it's a really good one this week. So every week I do a tool of the week, and but what I wanted to do before I do the tool of the week this week is a shameless plug for my own little book of social media tips and ideas. The idea is that you open up the book, and on any page that you open it onto, you should be able to get a little bit of an idea or inspiration for your next social media post. So do you know what? It only launched in the last 7 days, so I just thought it would be a great idea to let you guys know about this little book, and here it is. This week's tool of the week that I want you to go and check out is actually more of a platform. It's called Mixalliance, and it's a influencer marketing platform which is a marketplace. So what happens is all of the different kind of influencer marketers and agencies all come together in one place, and it's a white label solution for agencies and PR companies to be able to offer their influencer marketing services to other agencies and PR companies. It's a really great platform to look at. So go and have a look at it. It's at mixalliance.com.
Hey, welcome back. I'm with Sam Wilson from the ASA. Welcome, Sam. Thanks for having us in.
Thanks very much, Sam.
So we start by talking to us about what the ASA is.
Well, the ASA is the UK's regulator of advertising. So they will look at complaints from members of the public and the industry and assess whether there's been a breach of our advertising codes. So we'll try and work with advertisers to try and resolve complaints and, where necessary, publish rulings, the ones that you probably see on our website and in the press every week. And then the other side of the organisation is the Committee of Advertising Practice. That's the industry-facing side. So they write the rules, consult on changes to those, and offer advice and guidance through our copy advice team to the advertising industry.
So you're not like a big lynch mob that's just waiting to pounce on people that publish poor copy?
No. It's an awful lot easier for us if we can work with advertisers and agencies, influencers, and help them to comply with the rules, rather than us having to go and investigate or anything like that. So yeah, we're keen to help and make everyone help them to comply with the rules.
So I mean, with traditional media, it's probably been touch wood, relatively easy to know where all the channels are and who the players are. But I kind of guess social media over the last 5 years has created some rethinking of some issues with how you regulate that particular aspect of the media.
Yeah, absolutely. The rules that we've got have been sort of the basics behind them have been in place for over 50 years. But it's obviously our challenge is how to apply them in new areas and make sure that we're fit for purpose to regulate in digital space, and to make sure that we're ready to apply the rules in new areas that perhaps we haven't seen before, and to help advertisers to comply with the rules, make clear that something is an ad, and label it correctly if it's necessary in all those new areas. So we're taking a lot of efforts at the moment to make sure that we're understanding sort of emerging platforms and how sort of new technologies are working. We've got a sort of group of digital specialists within the organisation their role is to make sure that all the staff throughout the organisation and the ASA Council, or the final arbiter of the rules, have a good understanding of what media they're regulating and how they can best help advertisers to comply with the rules in there.
So I suppose with a lot of the larger brands, this is ingrained into their DNA anyway. What about when it comes to perhaps the smaller businesses that now have more access to self-serve platforms and advertising, not just through social media, but for the likes of Google? How do you get your message through to those guys?
I think there has been a challenge, and we've been trying. We have to. We can't necessarily expect those sort of people who've been in, who aren't the sort of traditional advertisers who will come to our website and seek advice. So we've taken some. We try and make sure that our advice and guidance and help out there is as accessible as possible. So that's why we're doing sort of webinars, our e-learning courses, which our copy advice team put together on a variety of subjects, and sort of gambling and misleading advertising, things like that, and the sessions that we'll run to get advertisers involved and be able to answer their questions. So we're trying to engage more with influencers on social media as well. So yeah, it's changing how we give out our advice and guidance. Really, it might still be the same sort of rules of you have to make clear when an ad is an ad. The same rules about misleading advertising and promotional marketing. But yeah, as I said earlier, it's in our interest to get people to comply and make it as easy for them as possible.
You mentioned the influencer marketing. I mean, there seems to be quite a few blurred lines around influencer marketing and what's sponsored, what's paid for, and actually where they're taking advantage of something for free.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's inevitable. There are always going to be more and more blurred boundaries there, really. But yeah, we're clear that when something has to be clearly identifiable as advertising in traditional media, that's obviously a lot clearer. But just the same way as an advertorial in traditional media might have to be labelled, something that's in native advertising or is a social media influencer that's putting that on their Twitter feed or on Instagram, sometimes it would need to be clearly labelled. We're at the moment in the middle of a project looking at sort of the labelling that is used online, and we're undertaking some research just in the next few weeks, some sort of consumer research to sort of develop our understanding of how people engage with that material and what sort of labels they think are necessary to explain what they're seeing. So whether we've at the moment quite clear that if something's labelled ad, hashtag ad, it's likely to make clear.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's likely to be fine in most media. But hopefully this research that we'll do will mean we'll be able to produce some more sort of bespoke guidance that might be more useful for people advertising in those sort of areas.
Well, I used to find when I was a publisher working in B2B that when we did sponsored content, I'd look for any other label other than the word advertising.
Yeah.
Thought leadership, expert view. I mean, people like me must be really helpful to the process, creating our own labels.
Seeing more and more of those is, a lot of it will be based on the sort of the context as well. So it can, that's why we hopefully learn something from this research, and that something doesn't have to be. We won't have a very strict rule on exactly what needs to be labelled. There's always going to be different understanding for the consumer from the sort of context it's in, and especially sort of when it's in the middle of otherwise editorial material. If there are sort of creative ways that advertisers and influencers can come up with making that message clear, as long as it is clear to consumers, then it's likely to be acceptable. But yeah, it's something we need to, as regulators, sort of test out a bit more. And
when's your research due out?
As I say, we're sort of in the middle of it right now. I would hope towards the end of this year, so maybe the beginning of next year, we might be in a position where we'll be able to sort of start putting together some more guidance on this. But yeah, for anyone who's slightly confused about the areas, it's understand it's quite a daunting prospect. You just maybe it's the first time you've heard of the ASA, then we've got a lot of advice and guidance on our website. The copy advice team, which is 6 sort of experienced members of the ASA, you can always pick up the phone and call them. They'll give you a view on what is likely to be acceptable, and sort of suggest any amendments to advertising to make it less likely that it's going to be a breach of the code.
Yeah, I mean, I guess probably in days gone, if you're a relatively small business or you're new to the market, you probably assume that these standards are in place. But now with people coming to the market direct themselves, or actually, the amount of freelance or smaller agencies that are popping up in this space, and they might have done an online course. They might not be au fait with all the regulatory issues that go with advertising.
Absolutely, yes, and it might not to them seem like that it is traditional advertising, really. Yeah, but yeah, the rules are in place, and to protect consumers and ensure that there's a level playing field. So yeah, we're always keen to help people make advertising clear when it needs to be. But yeah, those rules are in place, and when an advertiser doesn't comply with the ASA's rules, then we do have sanctions in place that we can use. But yeah, for the vast majority of advertisers, they're obviously keen to engage, and it's obviously helpful for their. If you're an online influencer, it's important to have the trust of your audience and things. So making sure that they know what the relationship is with a brand, or if you're selling something, is in everyone's interest, I think.
So where does the ASA stand on the fake influencers? I mean, the guys that are blatantly, buying followers and ripping off companies for advertising revenue. Do you get involved there? I mean, do you take a view on that?
I mean, our remit is really the content of ads. So the sort of the background of buying followers and things. If that's being used in an advertising medium, that might be something we could comment on. But mainly we're looking at the content of an ad, so whether it is in the middle of native advertising, whether it's a post on social media, and we're looking at whether that complies with our rules, whether it breaks the rules or not. So we're sort of looking at whether that content is going to mislead anyone. Said whether it's clear that it's an ad or not. But yeah, we have to look at it in that whole wider context of.
Do you think the platforms themselves could be doing more to help filter out poor content, poor advertising?
We will work as closely as we can with platforms especially as a sanction, really. If we can't, if an advertiser is blatantly breaching the rules and we can't, then won't agree to amend their advertising, then we will work with these platforms to get that removed. I don't think they're able to have an official view of what platforms will be doing. We're always keen to work together with them and to have a good relationship with that. But it's a sort of three-way thing between.
I guess it's kind of integral, really, to have that good relationship.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, you alluded at the start of the interview to new technologies. In the last few years, the volume of platforms and types of technology continually getting cheaper and smarter. How do you keep up with all of these new outlets?
Well, that's. I think we've definitely, it's something we've got better at. I think it's because we've got a staff of around 100 people. Some people will be on social media all day. Some barely look at it and things. So, as I mentioned, the digital specialist group that we've got, we're doing a lot of internal training to make sure that everyone's up to speed with that. We're making sure that our council has the expertise. So we've got a lot of people with the specific expertise in digital space, and we're ensuring that we're using them to raise our awareness that. But a lot of it is, yes, just looking out and keeping an eye on any new technology, thinking, how's this going to be used for advertising?
Yeah,
Because inevitably at some point it's going to be. So we need to keep that in mind.
What do you think the challenges will be for advertisers as user experiences become more sort of immersive with the likes of virtual reality, and very targeted, tailored to a single person?
I think in the same way that the sort of the change in technology, we've already seen that the majority of complaints we're getting are about advertising online on advertisers' websites or on social media. The issues are always, again, that the rules kind of stay the same. You still have to make sure that advertising isn't misleading, harmful or offensive. It's about making sure that it's going to be targeted correctly as well, which is always an issue when something new comes up. The ASA would always expect anyone advertising to take advantage of any sort of opportunities they have to make sure that, for instance, material that might not be suitable for children, so if it's gambling or food that's high in fat, salt, sugar, isn't targeted at them, isn't likely to be seen by them on new and emergent platforms, or if it's something that we haven't even sort of considered how the rules might apply there yet. That's always going to be, there's always going to be someone who's going to be the first one to test this out, and they might be subject to an ASA ruling. So it's always worth just considering that.
Something like voice, you've already got radio that's probably somewhat comparable in terms of how an advert's going to be served.
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, and again, the more targeted it is, probably the better it is, really, because then if you can show that you've been able to target it specifically at someone and keep it away from an audience that's otherwise it's going to be unsuitable for, then that's great. It's going to.
So where can our users go and get all this information from if they're not familiar with you guys? We'll flash the URL up on the screen for you, but it's the asa.org.
asa.org.uk. There's a lot of advice and guidance on there. We've got we've written out advice documents on loads of different subjects, usually sort of based on what the ASA Council has said before. So it would be sort of clear that this is definitely probably likely to be okay if you do the same thing, and sort of the best practice guidelines and things like that. And as I said, the copy advice team, there's a link on the website to be able to request bespoke advice. They'll get back to you for free within 24 hours with their sort of thoughts on that. Can be anything. They'll sometimes just receive a page with some pencil drawings of a very initial early stage up to sort of fully produced ad that's about to go live. But they're always happy to.
That's a free service.
That's free. Yeah, there's a paid for 4-hour express service, but they'll get back to you within 24 hours usually, and be able to give you that advice. So we'd always urge people to use that as much as possible.
Brilliant. Well, Sam, thank you so much for taking some time out to talk to us today.
Thank you very much.
It's brilliant.
Pleasure. Cheers.